Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. The India Alliance will meet again for the third time in Mumbai on the 31st of August and the 1st of September. But right before that, well, once again, obvious chinks in the India armour brought out by what the convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal, said just about 2 days ago, where he took on his own India ally, Congress, in Congress-ruled Chhattisgarh and a state where the Congress hopes to make massive gains, Madhya Pradesh, saying that the Congress is a corrupt party, especially where schools and development are concerned. They really need to look at the Aam Aadmi Party. Well, confusing messages, especially coming in when you are supposed to be in alliance together going in for the Lok Sabha elections. And what does it tantamount to? All of that coming up over the course of the next 20 minutes.
The unity of the anti-Narendra Modi political bloc, India, is once again under the lens. The Congress party and the Aam Aadmi Party are locked in yet another fight. After Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal launched a scathing attack on the ruling Congress party in the poll-bound state of Chhattisgarh, questioning the schools run by Bhupesh Baghel government,
76 साल में एक भी दूसरी पार्टी को मैंने ऐसी पार्टी को नहीं देखा जो आपके आके कहे कि आपके स्कूल बनवा दूंगा इसलिए वोट दे दो, आपके लिए अस्पताल बनवा दूंगा इसलिए वोट दे दो। एक भी पार्टी आज तक नहीं आई। अकेली पार्टी है जो मुद्दों की बात करती है।
Alka Lamba is now said that Arvind Kejriwal is a Mahathug. She also spoke about the fact that 2 mantris of the Delhi government are facing corruption charges and are currently in jail. Alka Lamba had earlier claimed that Congress will fight Aam Aadmi Party in all the Delhi 7 Lok Sabha seats.
आदेश हुआ है कि हमें 7 सीटों पर मजबूत संगठन के साथ हर नेता को आज से अभी से निकलना है कि जिसकी दिल्ली उसका देश होता है। ये दिल्ली का इतिहास बताता है। इसलिए कहा गया कि बिल्कुल 7 पर तैयारी रखनी है।
The unity show of India Alliance has seen multiple hiccups, with constituents Aam Aadmi Party and Congress Party often crossing swords.
हाँ भाई, बाकी स्कूल तो उसमें मेरे ख्याल से जंगलों में पढ़ रहा था बाकी हिंदुस्तान में। कम से कम एक आध उनको अस्पताल दिखा दो। हो सकता है वो अस्पताल ना हो, अंदर कुछ और हो, बाहर कांग्रेस ने झूठ बोलने के लिए अस्पताल नाम लिख दिया हो। जिस स्कूल में खुद केजरीवाल पढ़े थे वो स्कूल नहीं होगा, कुछ और होगा।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने जो दिल्ली को विकसित किया, दिल्ली को अच्छे स्कूल, अच्छे कॉलेज, अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटीज दी है, अच्छे हॉस्पिटल दिए हैं, 24 घंटे बिजली पानी दी है, युवाओं को बिना खर्ची पर्ची के रोजगार दिया है। अब पूरा देश चाहता है कि वो सुविधाएं पूरे देश के अंदर मिले।
The BJP has been gleefully watching the war within the anti-Modi alliance, mocking its chances of survival.
And this is the first Rajneetik nikah in which the triple talaq is happening even before the nikah has been finalized. Aam Aadmi Party and Congress Party are already at loggerheads, and therefore this is an alliance without any neta, without any niti. It only has no confidence amongst each other.
The internal strife in India bloc has also spread down south. In Kerala, the Congress attacked the ruling left government for financial mismanagement. Congress's K.C. Venugopal said Wayanad MP Rahul Gandhi can't be blamed for poor governance.
Wherever the necessity is needed, he is intervening with the central government. He is ready to cooperate with the Kerala government for betterment of Kerala. But these people are doing politics. The entire Kerala government is doing politics. On the part of that politics only, they are blaming Rahul Gandhi.
Will the internal waggling in India camp translate into advantage BJP? Bureau Report, India Today.
So what's going on, viewers? When it comes down to state elections, it's India versus India, but in 3 months, it's going to be India against the BJP. How confusing is that signal for the regular voter of this country? Well, let's take it down to our panelist this evening. Aam Aadmi Party now a headache for the India bloc. how are we to interpret what just went down over the past 3 days, where you had Arvind Kejriwal taking on the Congress in Chhattisgarh and in Madhya Pradesh, 2 states which are going into elections by the year end, and of course saying that I'm going to fight all seats in Rajasthan as well. Let's cut across to our panelists. Joining me, Shehzad Poonawala, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party; Akshay Marathe, National Spokesperson, Aam Aadmi Party; Rashid Kidwai, Senior Journalist; in the studio with us, Consulting Editor Rajdeep Sardesai. Rajdeep, for someone who's attended 2 of the meetings of the India Alliance, I'm sure you're going to go in for the 3rd as well. The first one, there was an issue because Arvind Kejriwal walked out right before that press conference because he wanted the Congress on board. The Congress came on board right before the 2nd meeting, and Arvind Kejriwal decided to go. Now, I just want to ask you, for somebody who's a political analyst, how confusing is this signal? Where you're going to criticize the Congress, say it's weak, it's not delivered in governance, and yet you're going to ally with the Congress just 3 months from elections in states to a national election.
Preeti, I think what has happened over the weekend reveals some of the limitations of this emerging India alliance. Because for all the talk of forging a national alliance against the BJP, there are state-level differences. We've seen it play out in the last couple of weeks in Delhi between the AAP and the Congress. We've seen it play out in Bengal between the left and the Trinamool Congress. We've seen it play out in Kerala between the left and the Congress, and now we are seeing it playing out in Chhattisgarh between AAP and the Congress. The problem is that this alliance hasn't still worked out how they intend over the next 10 months to work together. They've evinced the intent, but beyond the intent, you've got to start having meetings at the, not just once in a month in a summit in a 5-star hotel. You're going to have those private conversations that are extremely important. There has been apparently attempts made by Mr. Kejriwal to reach out to the Congress leadership, to reach out to Mallikarjun Kharge, to reach out to Rahul Gandhi, but it's been a case of no clear response from the other side. Yes, they did work together in Parliament during the monsoon session, but when it comes to actually electioneering, there is no common strategy that's been forged. So Arvind Kejriwal seems to believe that he also has every right to expand into states like Chhattisgarh, where, interestingly, remember, large tribal population. Mr. Kejriwal did well in Gujarat in the tribal areas. His reports, his poll surveys apparently show he's getting traction there. He's focusing on particular areas of Madhya Pradesh like Gwalior. So, tali do haath se bachti hai. I think both sides are going to have to decide, are you only going to sit in an India alliance once every month, or are you actually going to work for a common strategy for state elections? Do state elections matter to this India alliance, or are you only looking at the national election with one aim to defeat Narendra Modi? And that strategy has not been worked out.
Akshay Marathe, especially if it comes down to a close contest, what that incremental vote of even a 3% in a Chhattisgarh could lead, or Madhya Pradesh could lead for the Congress to lose. But having said that, 2 options, Akshay Marathe. One, you can stick to what is your official line, I'm sure, that is that there is no alliance when it comes to state elections. Where Lok Sabha is concerned, you're together. Or is this all just pressure tactics, arm twisting before the 31st meet by the end of this month, that at least the Congress and India plays ball when it comes to seat sharing in states like Punjab, because you want the upper hand there? And maybe you pull out after that from these states.
No, since you have asked me for a line that is different from my party line, let me take a step back and try to answer honestly. Look, the Aam Aadmi Party has been around for the last 10 years, and in these 10 years, we have expanded organically across the country. So in these 3 states that are going into elections, whether it is Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, or Madhya Pradesh, we have a strong local unit that is prepared to fight elections. We have a Arvind Kejriwal model of governance, which says that education, health, water, power can be provided free of cost to people, and all that can be done without corruption and without going into debt. So this model of governance is being taken around to these 3 states by our organization, and we have found that there is an organic demand for this model. So as a political party, it is our right to present that model to the people, and ultimately it is up to the people to decide whether they want to vote for Aam Aadmi Party, BJP, or Congress. To say that because Aam Aadmi Party is part
moral
of
turpitude then as a political
India,
party, especially a party like yours, comes into question, because at one end you are criticizing the Congress, saying that they are corrupt, they haven't delivered in these 2 states, and yet when it comes down to the national elections, you're not fighting them.
No, look, we have to understand that people of India are intelligent enough to see the difference between a state election and a national election. In a state election, the issues are very different. Like I said, the issues that Aam Aadmi Party is fighting on are very limited to education, health, power, water, which are very clearly state issues. But when it comes to the national election, we are fighting on a very broad platform of saving the constitution, saving our democracy, because these issues are genuinely important when it comes to the national
Okay.
perspective. The BJP in the center is detrimental to India's democracy, and that is what the Aam Aadmi Party very strongly is saying.
All right, so
So
which
when it
feeds
comes
into
to
the
the
larger
state
narrative
election,
that the
we have a
BJP
right
is trying to
side on
say that at a national level, and I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai and Shehzad into this conversation, that the alliance of India really has no other narrative but an anti-BJP, anti-Modi narrative. Having said that, Rashid Kidwai, what's really going on in the Congress camp right ahead of the third meeting? Because it does seem that the Aam Aadmi Party has turned out to be a massive headache for the Congress.
Thank you, Preeti. Preeti, it is not for any reason that politics is described as the art of the possible. There are, of course, contradictions in all political parties, and political parties do manage. Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai's country cousin V.N. Gadkari used to say about Atal Bihari Vajpayee that Mr. Vajpayee ran that NDA at that point of time with 3 human bombs: Mamta, Samta, and Jayalalitha. And he did it in a very nice manner. The governments did last. So what I'm saying is that there are always contradictions, and politicians are able to manage those contradictions. Remember, Preeti, India alliance is not for states. Just as the Congress in CWC was within its rights to induct Alka Lamba and Ajay Makan, both deadly opposed to Aam Aadmi Party, just as Aam Aadmi Party is entitled to have its views. So I think these contradictions will continue, and they're not going to affect the spirit of India alliance. Ultimately, the alliance would be there in place, including in Delhi, in Punjab, perhaps in Gujarat also, between Congress and Aam Aadmi Party. Remember, there are 46 seats, and if Congress doesn't align with Aam Aadmi Party, they may draw a blank. And if they have alliance with this in these 3 out of the 46 states, 46 seats, they have a chance to get 10-15 seats combined with Aam Aadmi Party. So this is the arithmetic. And remember, Preeti, there is a very strong bond between Mr. Sanjay Singh and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge in Rajya Sabha, and that bond is going to tide over all this kind of this verbal duel, etc.
Well, we don't know, but let's just see. Mr. Kidwai, I'll take the liberty to say, Atal Bihari Vajpayee might have said it very tactfully, where he spoke of the 3 women leaders as human bombs of sorts, but was a tad bit sexist at that time, because there were a lot of other male political leaders who did the same. But having said that, Shehzad and Rajdeep, I'll bring you back into this conversation. Shehzad, there has to be an amount of worry in all of this. You have a by-election which is going on in Ghosi in Uttar Pradesh, where it's many would say a kaante ka takkar when it comes down to the Samajwadi Party and the BJP, because all other parties have sat down and seen this could possibly be the litmus test in terms of knowing if this alliance works. Going ahead, even if it is all against the BJP, all against Modi, it could spell trouble, because at least they are very clear in their agenda.
Preeti, first of all, just because you do arithmetic calculation on paper doesn't mean that the chemistry on the ground changes with that. दल से दल मिलने से दिल से दिल कार्यकर्ताओं के और ज़मीन पर नहीं मिलते. SP BSP came together in 2019 election. What happened? 2 young boys of Uttar Pradesh also came together. What happened? I am not saying this out of sense of arrogance. I am saying that even if, let's assume, Aam Aadmi Party and Delhi paper over Congress paper over all their differences, what is their vote share, even arithmetically speaking, in Delhi? 40%. We are at 56%. Lok Sabha elections I'm taking. Now come to the fact that what has happened. Amit Shah ji is vindicated completely, and Rajdeep will agree that Amit Shah ji had said on 7th or 8th August that look, as soon as the matlab is over, the friendship will be over. This is the first Rajneetik nikah where the 3 talaq ka provision is there inbuilt triple talaq provision, friends with benefits. Imagine Alka Lamba and Pawan Kheda, who have abused with choicest of abuses to Delhi model and to Mr. Kejriwal, one has called it Mahatag, other has said there is no Delhi model, have been both promoted to CWC. Dinesh Gundurao came all the way from Bengaluru to say that the world-class health model doesn't exist. And this is not the unique thing only about Aam Aadmi Party and Congress Party. By the way, Trinamool Congress versus left on Jadavpur, Congress versus Trinamool on Jadavpur, Congress versus left in Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi Party goes and meets KCR, Rajdeep's good friend, who's saying, who's called B team of BJP by Rahul Gandhi. RLD did not vote for the Delhi Services Bill issue at all. You have seen that in Maharashtra, Rajdeep and my home state, Sharad Pawar ji has been given a no confidence motion by whom? Congress Party and Uddhav Sena. You know, it's not I.N.D. It is I doubt.
All right,
N
okay.
doubt. D
But
doubt. And
Shehzad,
every kadam par doubt hai, isliye inka alliance. is a
Shehzad,
no
you know,
confidence
the
alliance.
uneasy alliance is something which the BJP is very attuned to. You know, let's just forget about Ajit Pawar and the likes. What happened really where the Meghalaya chief minister came into being? 2 days before you called him corrupt, you called him, you did. And then you went and tied up with him.
The
parallel is alliances are uneasy on either side of the divide.
Just give me one statement on that.
Go, yeah, sure.
Has Conrad Sangma said anything against BJP?
Of course he did.
Right now. No, after the alliance has been built.
Okay.
And every day, पानी पी पी कर कोस रहे हैं ये लोग एक दूसरे को after the alliance has been built in Bengaluru.
Rajdeep, I'll bring you in on this again because ultimately, you know, it's a Hindi idiom and I'll bring it on. अगर घोड़ा घास से दोस्ती कर लेगा तो खाएगा कहाँ? Because Aam Aadmi Party has built its politics on the vote of the Congress Party. What do? They have to do this if they have to foray into new states.
You see, Shehzad Poonawala Preeti today has every reason to smile. He often, nowadays appears too serious in these, but today he has reason to smile because this is exactly what the BJP is hoping, that in the run-up between now to December, as you have 5 important state elections, from time to time, there will be these implosions, antagonisms expressed in public. I mean, on the very day on September 1st, when this alliance is to meet in Mumbai, you have a by-election in Puthupalli taking place in the first week of September. Pinarayi Vijayan is expected to go there. Umman Chandi passed away. He will attack the Congress. Similarly, there's a by-election taking place in West Bengal. Expect there also the left and the Congress to attack each other. Now, it comes with the territory. To be fair, the left has made it very clear. They're even going to contest the Lok Sabha elections against Mamata Banerjee. And ironically, it may work to Mamata's advantage. She would like the opposite anti-Mamata vote to get divided. So, you know, are we treating, just as we in studios treat Vidhan Sabha very different to Lok Sabha,
right.
Political parties are also doing it. So your question...
No, my question is also, Rajdeep, what Akshay Marathe said, that the voters become very smart to identify between a state election and a national election. This is a new one for the voter as well.
They do, with one caveat. Let's be clear. You know, if you're, when Mr. Kejriwal goes into Madhya Pradesh and attacks Shivraj Singh Chauhan's governance, he is trying to also capture a section of the anti-Shivraj Singh Chauhan vote. So in a closely run seat somewhere, if he picks up 5 in a close contest, he can. I'm saying there's a possibility that he may damage the Congress in a few seats. Likewise in Chhattisgarh, he may damage the Congress in a few seats. So I think Mr. Kejriwal's politics, everyone is entitled to expand his or her political territory. I think the Congress and Mr. Kejriwal, the left and Mamata Banerjee will have to openly agree to, will have to agree at some stage as to how are you going to proceed ahead. Left has made it very clear, to be fair, that our strategy is we are going to fight you in the state, ally with you at the center. AAP and Congress have still not worked a modus vivendi. Unless they work out a modus vivendi, from time to time you will have the kind of explosion that we had with Alka Lamba last week, now with Mr. Kejriwal versus Bhupesh Baghel. You know, it's sending mixed signals, and the beneficiary is the BJP. Because the BJP will say, look, this is what we told you so.
He's saying so. But no, Akshay Marathe, I want to bring you in finally for a quick question. After the 31st meeting, if there's common ground met, can we say that possibly the Aam Aadmi Party could pull out from these election-bound states, or is this now the final chapter of what you said, that you will take your model of governance to these states? Is it negotiable or non-negotiable?
Preeti, the Arvind Kejriwal model is a net positive for the opposition. Aam Aadmi Party's positive economic agenda and vision for the country is a net positive for the India Alliance. So if Arvind Kejriwal is going to different states and popularizing a different economic vision for the country, it is obviously going to affect the BJP more than the opposition. It is against the BJP that the Aam Aadmi Party is fighting this election, whether it's in Madhya Pradesh, whether it's in Chhattisgarh or Rajasthan. And let me tell you, Preeti, Om Prakash Rajbhar, who was just inducted into the NDA alliance, has given the choicest of galis to the
We've known
Prime
that
Minister.
history has been recounted to Shehzad.
No. Shehzad Poonawala himself, mind you, has said the worst possible language against the RSS and the Bharatiya
I'll
Janata
get you.
Party.
Rashid Kidwai, okay, I want to just give in final words. Rashid Kidwai, you want to make a point? Come in, sir. 30 seconds and then 30 seconds. Okay, make quickly.
Point. You have a democratic newsroom where Gaurav Sawant, Rajdeep, Sardesai and Preeti Chaudhary can exist in one newsroom. Similarly, the India Alliance may have its differences, but we can exist in a democratic alliance.
Akshay, my friend, let us not compare a newsroom now to a political alliance.
Very different. Very different.
No, but let me come in on this very point only.
Okay,
because
10 seconds, then Mr. Kidwai wants to make a point.
First of all,
keep it short.
I'll keep it very short. First of all, before you find takers for Arvind Kejriwal's positive models across the country, find some takers in the Congress party because they are rejecting it. So I don't know how your alliance is accepting it. Point number one. Point number two, you have on record said that Bhupesh Baghel should go to jail for corruption. So perhaps you want to send your own allies. Is that also a positive model or not? You only explain. Thirdly, as far as the democratic newsroom is concerned, there is one editorial line of the channel. There are not 10 editorial
I'm just glad that it's making news and it's being discussed.
Just 5 seconds, let me complete. The problem with this alliance is, and I call it internally negative divided Inca alliance because they have no deliverables. Except for Modi Hard cut.
Rashid Kidwai, 20 seconds, sir, and we are going to wrap up.
Yeah. Doctrine of necessity is going to determine that outcome of all this, negotiations. The state elections are out of bound. That is not there for India Alliance. Remember, first Arvind Kejriwal government was formed with the support of Congress.
Well, sir, that was very quick. Thank you for joining us, all four of you. Appreciate it. We've terribly run out of time, but I'm sure the conversation is going to continue in days to come. 31st is when India Alliance is meeting again. We'll keep a keen eye on what develops there.